What's going on, guys? Marcel here, and I have a special little treat. It's amazing. It's new. It comes out with the launch of Season 7. This is Fortnite Creative.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Let's go, boys!
Go, baby, solid start.
Oh no, about to land on something right on the back of the
Oh my God! Who's the cookie gingerbread man?
That's pretty good.
But you can't do it!
Oh God! Oh no! Slow and steady wins the race, boys.
Oh, they're shooting at us. Go, boys, go. Go, go.
Tyler!
No, he's screwed up.
Later! Preston!
Watch him. Here he goes. There we go. 2, 3. The tricky one, he got it. He got it. This is his time.
Let's go!
It's his time.
Let's go! I'm out here! I'm out here! In this mode, you can create literally whatever you want. Races, obstacle courses, parkour maps, the whole map, but in a smaller area. You can do whatever you want in this mode. Spawn it in, do it. You want to spawn in 70 cars and have a derby, make a derby. This is awesome. This is why Epic Games flew us out last week. It was to test this, give them feedback, tell them what we want to see in the future, and it's launching with the start of Season 7. They let us post these videos a little bit earlier to give you guys, you know, just a general gist to get the hang of it, to know what to expect when this bad boy comes out. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna explain it a little bit, let you guys, see how it operates before you jump in tomorrow. You'll have, just a little bit. You're ahead of the game over here. We're gonna do a commentary kind of commentary tutorial on how to get in this bad boy. And I haven't done a commentary or tutorial in a lot of bit actually. It's been a long time, so I could be a little rusty at this thing. Let's jump right into this. As it stands right now, this is what creative mode main screen looks like. Got the nice little background. All of this is a new building material. It's called the obstacle course material, I believe. You can have 4 people in your lobby when you go into creative mode, and the mode itself lasts for 4 hours. Once you actually boot up into creative mode, you can then invite 12 other people. Up to 16 players can be in one creative mode session, that's amazing. You know what I mean? 4 hours, 16 people. Every person that loads into creative mode gets their own island. You get 4 islands. Once you boot into creative mode, this is called the creative hub. Here, there's a bunch of stone hedgy rocks and stuff like that. Your rift is glowing orange, so you always know that that's your rift. These 2 right here, these 4 rocks will be featured content that Epic will choose. So you'll have a total of 20 rifts if you have 16 people in your lobby, or you'll have your original 3. So I'm not sure what they're going to launch with the feature maps right now. They said they were going to pick some of ours, and it was the ones that we could create. We'd have a couple hours to make. They would say make a obstacle course. So yeah, this is my rift right here. It's orange, as you can clearly see. This is the creative hub. If you want to safely save your map, the map saves every 90 seconds. You back out to the creative hub here, and you can kind of mess around here with your friends. Pick whose rift you're going to go into. So if I'm playing with Wildcat, his rift would be there, and he goes, all right, come on my rift, and it'll show you that he's in it. So if you go over to your rift, you can set your rift location. Everybody has 4 islands. You pick which island you want to spawn into, boot up your island, wait for it to load. Yeah, so this is what happens when you load into a blank map. There's foliage. This is the size of all 4 islands right now. So everybody has the same exact island when you go into it as of now. Once in the creative hub, and you land from the sky, you've got this cell phone. I believe it's just called the phone. But once you have your phone out, you pretty much do a ton of cool stuff. You can highlight literally anything on the map except for, the ground itself. So as you see here, I copied this wall and I can place it literally wherever I want. You've got your controls on the left-hand side for rotates, clockwise, counterclockwise. Right now, some things are considered props and some things are considered building materials. I believe this is called a prop because you can't really build with it. but it has a toggle drop option. So you can make things floating in the sky by pressing the toggle drop button. It could be G, it could be something different. There's also a grid. You know how Fortnite kind of operates in a grid system where you can't build a ramp, you know, inside of a ramp, yada, yada, yada. So right now the grid is on 16. I believe that's default, but I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. So you can kind of see how I kind of follow the grid by moving left to right. If I toggle it down to 8, you can see the grid changes and you can place things a little bit more. Down to 4, you can see how the grid's a little bit bigger and chunkier. And then 2, huge, blocky kind of grid. And then off, free movement. You can move things around as much as you want. And 16 is the default. It's really, really nice when you want to like clip stuff inside of each other. But you can only do this with certain objects in the game. Right now, I built this thing that's floating in the sky. You can grab it, or you can clone it when you have your phone out. So right now I grabbed it. This is your rotate tool. Pressing tab changes the axis of the rotate. So the yaw and the pitch and stuff like that. So if I do this bad boy, it rotates that way. Holding tab will reset it. That's something we actually put in the game. It wasn't originally in there. We were like, maybe it would be able to reset stuff. Oh, at the bottom, you have a memory. Right there, that shows you exactly what you can build. Once you hit that memory, I suggest slowing down. It causes problems with your map, with loading things. So these are the obstacle course builds. You can make complete obstacle course. Some of them are already pre-constructed, so you can just kind of layer them, you know, in a line if you wanted to. And then down here, you have every building in the game. Well, most of the buildings in the game. I talked about getting haunted hills and those kind of materials. I want my castle, you know what I mean? I want to make a castle. But you can spawn in these things, and they spawn in whole as a unit. You can, you know, remove stuff. So if I spawn it in as a thing, I could take a wall off. But these are the main prefabs of the game. And then down here, you have the same prefabs, but everything's kind of deconstructed. That's new. That box right there, we just added that today, so we didn't get to touch that. But these are all your buildings and stuff deconstructed, so you could recreate those houses and stuff like that are already in the game from scratch, or you can make it cooler. Once you want one, you just equip it, and it'll come to your action bar like you would a porta-fort or a porta-fortress. And then you can see a grid of where it's going to kind of spawn when you throw it in. So I'm going to float up into the sky, throw this bad boy down, takes a little quick second, and boom, you have a pre-built obstacle course, which is pretty awesome. Real quick, you can go down to my island and you can adjust the game mode. So we talked about adding more game modes like prop hunt and death run and stuff like that, gun game. And they said that they would work on trying to get new modes in there. But these are you can set the teams, free for all, team deathmatch, multi-teams, do the time limit. You can set your spawn location to spawn pads or in the sky, or team spawn. So like you can have spawns for each set of players. And yeah, that's pretty much simple. If this is your My Island game setting, this will be how you operate your mini game. You can also change who gets to edit your island. So if you want people to play your game or jump in your lobby but not break anything, you spawn that in, and then they won't get a phone. I believe they won't be able to break anything. If you're gonna build something and it doesn't quite, if it hits the outer border, it won't spawn in. So make sure you spawn things into the map. And if you want to get rid of a prefab, you have to delete everything individually. So we set an area aside that had, you know, the material we wanted to use out of the way, and then we used it to kind of build our maps, which you'll see a lot of tomorrow when I upload some of the mini game modes that we played and stuff. I do have their mic quality, so it's not amazing, but you'll be able to see that. So this is another obstacle course that's kind of in the game. These right here are electric traps. You can set them to do 5 damage or 10 damage. As of now, it could be changed, but this is what it was when we were there. And this is an ice block. It acts similar to you having the ice trap on your feet, but it's kind of like makes you slide a little bit. Got these new walls right here with arrows on them to kind of direct people in your map and stuff like that. You can get chained on these bad boys and take a lot of damage. They added directional pads back in the game. It's called a speed boost, but jumping into it will send you, flying. These are also things that you can spawn in or you can copy yourself, and you can kind of manipulate them. You can make them float in the sky and stuff. So like people are making really cool loop-de-loops out of these just by, spawning one in and moving it around and stuff like that. So all of this stuff is completely new to Fortnite, all of these builds and shapes and stuff like that. So let's say you want to recreate, a town. You can spawn in a house right next to it. So like if you want to recreate, Salty, you want all the houses to be next to each other. This is the devices tab right here. You've got your standard traps, the turrets, you know, the electric traps, the rails, full damage rails. That's the 10 damage, and then the 5, and then the pads, and then all of your vehicles, and then a couple of things to run mini games, like a timer, scoreboard, and a spawn point. So when placing a player spawn point, because you can have 16 players, you can put 16 of these bad boys down, or you can put more to make the spawns a little bit more random. When you put these down, the little notch determines what way they'll be facing when you put it down. It's on the left-hand side right there. And we talked about maybe being able to make these invisible, because they do stay there permanently on the ground. But these are all things, you know, to come later. So that's what your basic spawn pad looks like, just like that. This right here is a timer. So maybe if you made like a loop-de-loop, you set the timer, jump on the bad boy, the clock starts starting, jump on it again, it stops. So if you want to make like an obstacle course, have everybody jump on their timer, start, and then stop it when they get back to make a cool little race. These can be customized. The way these rails work as of now, you can only put them on one on each block, which was a little bit funky. But so you figure out how to make a block of a square of these bad boys. You can actually copy them with the phone and kind of place them on every corner. You have to make it a prop and not an actual trap, kind of braid it a little bit, and that way you can make full squares. So if you're struggling to make something perfect, I suggest just grabbing the phone. It helps a lot. Back to the weapons. Every weapon in the game is currently selectable in here. We talked about adding some of the weapons that were vaulted and stuff. So maybe that'll be available at launch, but we're not sure. So the way to get weapons into your inventory or into the hands of people playing your game mode is to let them spawn them into their inventory by pressing the equip button. Then it spawns into your inventory. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. As of right now, once you have weapons into your inventory, you go into the My Island settings, you can change it to have infinite ammo, so that people will never run out of ammo. Second way to spawn things into the game for like mini games and stuff like that is to add to a chest. So you select what you want in the chest. You can add a bunch of stuff to the chest. I'm not sure what the limit was. I don't think anybody ever hit it, but you can spawn stuff into a chest. However, the consumables, you can also spawn these things into your inventory or into the chest as well. Like the ammo, you know, build, if you want people to have 500 builds. Then you go over to the chest tab, and you'll see everything that will spawn in the chest once you spawn it. You can also do this with llamas. You can change them to llamas or chests. You can remove stuff from the chest or the llama, or you can reset it completely if you want to start over. This bad boy spawns in the game. Once you open up the chest, everything spawns out of it, which is useful for making like a snipers only game mode. You put 90 snipers in this bad boy, open it up, everybody's got snipers, you know, full inventories and stuff like that. Once you have your game mode kind of set up and people are in your lobby, you head over to My Island, and I don't know why the text didn't show up, but you press this right here and it'll start your mini game. And because I don't have any spawn pads down right now, I spawned in the sky. But if you had spawn points, people would spawn on their spawn points and the game would begin. So right here, I joined Lachlan, Preston, Wildcat, and Asian Canadian Bahan. And as you can see, they have their islands right there. That's mine, because it's orange. Yours will always be orange. And then they're in that one right there. You jump into their island, which he's set to island 1. He can set it to one of his 4 islands. But this is what they were kind of messing around with in their playground session in the back. As you can see, they've hit the memory limit pretty much. Oh my god. They're just spawning everything in. I think they were trying to see how much they could spawn in before they broke the game. But that's how that works over there. So yeah, so that's creative mode. I'm excited to see what kind of stuff you guys make. This will be available tomorrow. Ooh, the battle pass. Should I click on it?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's gonna really be the first of all?